Hello, I'm Nige.
Hi, Amanders. Welcome to uh, Nige's Day Out. So, Nige went out.
Yeah, I had a monumental beer experience and I feel I need to share with you.
Okay.
I went to the Ludlow Food and Drink Festival. It just Saturday just gone, which
Yeah.
was sometime in September. Uh, Mrs. Nige went, and we had friends from Dorset came up who went. It was Martin and Helen,
hmm
and the girls did the food festival on the Saturday, and me and Martin did the pub trail. I'll just show you.
The Ludlow Pub Trail. So that is a trail. Does is there a set amount of pubs on that trail?
Yeah. There's 13 pubs.
Oh, hello.
And Ludlow's old, it's got a big castle. It's oldie worldy. It's got
hmm
one of the pubs there has been selling beer. It's had a license for 600 years to
Good grief.
and yes, the experience was. This is why I want to talk about it. Uh, to get a t-shirt, well, basically you pay £3.50 and you get this little bit of paper which will come up, uh, and that says it gives you the scorecard. So you go around 13 pubs and you score them. To get the t-shirt, you've got to do a certain amount of pubs within the city walls
hmm
and only two outside. But we decided we had to do them all because, which we
I mean,
regretted, but I'll come to that later.
yeah, you and I are both. I'm what I'm like. We're both very completist, aren't we? If we're going to do something, got to do it properly.
Yeah, and I'm still a bit traumatized by one of them, but I'll come to that.
Go on then. Yeah.
But we started off in the first pub. No, well, actually, before that, we got dropped up. We were they wanted to get there for 10. So we had about 10. We had about 45 minutes to burn.
Right.
So we sat down in a tea shop
hmm
and we decided, right, well, we've got to mark them all out of 10. So we
Yeah.
came up with a score chart.
hmm
And I'm so pleased we did this because it made things a lot easier because there was a certain criteria. And I'll read out what we decided was important in a pub, which
Okay.
isn't necessarily important for other people. So our ratings of these pubs are dependent. It's very much personal to me and my mate Martin.
Yeah.
Uh, and we came up with this list: friendly staff,
Very important. I think
definitely. Uh, a brown beer option.
difficult to find in every single pub you go to.
I know, but Martin, he's a brown beer person. Best bitter
He is.
through and through. That's what he wants. That's what. So he gets very annoyed when there's not a brown beer there. So we put that if they don't offer a brown beer option.
Marked down.
Yeah. Uh, range of beers. They've got to have a choice of beers. They've got to have a decent choice, which was about three or four, but three would get them a point.
Okay. All right.
Uh, tasters offered. Usually, if you ask, they'll give you a taster of something. But
Yeah.
when we're chatting about the beers, if the bar staff offered, "Would you like a taster?" they get a point.
Right. Okay.
Uh, this was very specific. A wingback chair by a fire.
Fine.
This was Martin's because he said any pub does that with a fire going, wingback chair, they win. So that's obviously got brown beer. So that was part of the criteria. But actually, we split it down. You got a wingback chair, yeah, and then as long as we could sit in it, and if it's by the fire, that was bonus points.
Yeah.
Uh, if we could sit down, that got a point because we didn't want to really. If you, yeah, we're old. I like comfort.
Yeah.
Uh, did it have a beer garden? Not just a beer garden, was it a nice beer garden? No, it was a bit rainy that day. I think we only sat out once. So we
hmm
examined all the beer gardens just to make sure. and we scored accordingly on that. Snacks and food. Now, what we meant by that was, does it have pork pies, Scotch eggs, or cobs available at the bar? That was important to both
Right. Okay.
parties. Well, not so much
Okay.
the meat stuff for me, but a cheese and onion cob, which had two during the day, which was lovely.
Nothing.
Uh, and the final one was decor stroke general ambience.
Ambience stroke vibe. Yeah.
And we also had the option to give discretionary points if we felt like it.
Okay. Well, that seems fair.
Oh,
Yeah.
and one other criteria, the toilets.
Toilets. Oh, they do make a difference.
But
Um,
we wanted toilets with a wow factor. And sorry, I digress, but Anders and I, we went for a pub crawl around Stourport. Well, no, not a pub crawl. We did a few pubs before we went to Mark and Paul's Pub
yes,
Chef
we did,
Club.
didn't we? Yeah.
And there was one pub which had exceptional toilets.
Did it?
Yes, I can't remember the pub, but I we can't we've been out all day, and there was a time I needed to. It's more than the wee I needed. I go for an. You don't like doing things like that in the pub.
No,
They're
you don't.
your number twos. But I thought, oh, God. Anyway, it was exceptionally clean. Went in, and it was a solid toilet, no cracks anywhere under the, and it had a double lock on the door.
Lovely.
Do you remember? Because
I don't remember that. I
anyway,
really don't.
double locked it. It was comfort, and it was,
Yeah.
it was a nice experience. But I remember going back to the bar, and you went straight in after me to make sure. Anyway, so toilets are important, and
Toilets are indeed.
three out of the 13 pubs got points for the toilets.
Did they? That's not
Yes,
good.
uh, but they were quirky. But
Quirky's good. I like quirky.
I'm going to talk
Brewhouse and
about the.
kitchen.
Pardon?
Brewhouse and kitchen in Bournemouth.
Yes,
The urinals are barrels.
actually, one pub we went to, it didn't score that highly on everything else, but the picture will come up now. That's what we had, and I came out the toilet. I thought, yeah, that's going to have a point.
Got to have a point. Absolutely, it's good. Yeah. Okay. So you come up with your system. Okay.
Yes,
Pub number one. Where you going?
yeah. Anyway, first pub was called the Bakehouse, and I went there. I thought this isn't a good start to the day because you went in there. It says a little sign, "Wait to be seated." I thought, what?
Wait to be seated.
See, this was called the pub trail. It used to be called Ludlow Ale Trail,
Okay,
but they've
but now
rebranded
obviously
it. And to
people are
qualify,
becoming a little bit
you've
more.
got to buy a drink in each pub, but it can be soft drinks. So they've gone all PC that you don't have to have the beer anymore. It's about enjoying the pub, so they can take in more pubs. And this one wasn't really geared up for beer drinking because we got in there, no brown beers. Martin was not happy with that
I
first
bet he
pub.
was.
And the only thing we could get close to a proper beer was Camden. Uh,
Hell's
no,
Pale.
the what's it called? The Camden Pale Ale.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, we sat outside and there was a courtyard. The sun was shining. It was quite nice. This was at 11:15.
Yeah.
And we sat there and there was a little restaurant. Anyway, we saw a couple order a bottle of wine from the cafe next, and they were sat with a bottle of wine. And I thought, yeah, it's that sort of day.
Right. Okay. That's a disappointing
It
start.
was very and they only got 3 out of 10. It was, it wasn't dire, but it wasn't, yes.
Just disappointing. Yeah.
It, it
Yeah. Go
wasn't the
on.
lowest one of the day.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm not going to go through every individual pub. I'm going to pick the highlights. And that was
Okay.
a bit of a low point because our expectations are there and we were so disappointed that first pub. Second we went into was the Rose and Crown. No, Ludlow's got it's just lots of little alleyways and it's just ancient. And
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
pub has been serving beer for 600 years. Uh,
That's
I think it's one of the oldest establishments in the UK which has continuously served beer for 600 years or something like
good
that.
grief.
Uh, and we went in there, and it wasn't like any pub I've ever been in before. It was a cross between sort of that medieval feel and a monastery, because all the beers
Okay.
had that Belgian feel to it.
Right.
It was Jules beers. I've never heard of them before.
No.
Anyway, I'll have to investigate later. But anyway, I had the Citra offering, which is about 3.5% or whatever it was, and
Yeah.
Martin had the brown version. Just awesome. But they offered the only pub offered us a. Would you like to taste the beers?
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so
Uh,
good point.
yeah, and they ended up with 7 out of 10. It was a nice experience. Uh, and then we did another couple of pubs, and but that pub was we. I'm glad we had the scoring because that criteria. Because if you didn't have it, you went to the first pub. Is this good or bad? I don't know.
Mhm.
Is this exceptional? I don't know. So you need, yeah. Anyway, the criteria just gave us that structure.
I'm
Excuse me a minute, I'm just
I'm
coming up
looking
with
at some
this.
of these photos as we're going through this. Um, and I've just seen the photos of the Rose and Crown. It looks lovely. Next photo on from there is, and I don't think we need to, perhaps we do, concentrate on a Scotch egg.
Well, I'll come to the Scotch eggs. We
Okay,
haven't
we'll
had a
leave that for the
Scotch egg
time.
yet on
Sorry,
tour.
do beg
But
your
anyway,
pardon. Yeah.
the next pub of significance we went to was our favourite pub of the day.
Okay.
And this was called the Blood Bay.
Okay. Did that
Now,
have wingback chairs by any chance?
yes, we walked into this pub,
Yeah.
and it was a little tiny front room. It looked like a terraced house on or off the market square.
Okay.
You walked in, and it was sparse. The bar wasn't that huge, and it had three pools. You'll see the picture. No signs of the beer. Nothing else behind the bar. Virtually nothing. And we said, "Good day." And he says, "Well, I've got three beers. I've got a best bitter, a pale ale, or a cider. What do you want?" I was in love at that point. It was just,
Okay. So obviously Martin went for the brown.
yeah. We both went for the brown beer.
You both went brown. Okay.
We got the brown beer and chatted to some of the locals at the front, and then we walked round, and there was a little booth right behind the bar. We sat in there, and we just sat down and we looked around, and there was a little hole, and it was
It's
looking,
a very odd looking photo, that. Yeah.
yeah, looking back into the bar, and a little bell, so you could actually this little booth you had your own private serving hatch to the bar. Martin was just in absolute heaven. If we hadn't been with the quest, we would have stayed there all day because, yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, I went up to the loo, and there was rooms upstairs as well.
Okay.
That's where the wingback chairs were.
Right.
But I went to the loo, and it was an old Victoria. I've got toilet I have pictures of toilet. How
Yeah.
dodgy is it photographing toilets?
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm sure there's a lot of people that do that.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
toilet was old Victorian, had a pull chain, it was so clean, it was lovely. It was, oh, oh, point for that.
Yeah.
So we sat in the wingback chairs because we moved them
Hmm.
down just to experience the wingback chairs. And we're on the quest, but we would have, if it'd been normal pub crawl, we would have crashed. That was pub 4. I can't remember what it was, but we wouldn't have moved from there. We
Okay.
really wouldn't have. Uh, then we did a few more pubs, and then we had to do at least 2 hour at a time, but we were going to do, so it was quite a walk. And went to this
Okay.
old further, wasn't the furthest, but the first far one was called Carlton Arms or Charlton Arms. I can't remember.
Okay.
But it was it looked like a little castle by the river. It was lovely. Uh,
I'm just looking through some of the photos.
and we had wingback chairs by a fire, which
Did
wasn't
you?
which wasn't lit, which
Oh, okay.
lost points. Uh, and then this is where the day went south.
Ooh la la.
So we'd walked quite a bit to get there, and we'd taken on a couple of pubs, and then there's one pub called the Squirrel. And we thought, right,
Okay.
that's the next one. And it's a 1.4 mile walk to it because it's right in the edge of the town by the ring road. And I thought, oh, we've got to do it. So I walked by the river, be all right. So we walked, and it was sort of the day was torrential rain, stroke bright sunshine, and we had a bright sunshine break for that. But we were just sweating buckets. But anyway, we get to this pub, and this is where I wish we'd Googled it before and did a review. We got there, and it's right on the edge of the town by a roundabout, and there's a co-op garage there, a travel lodge, and a Marston's pub next to the travel lodge.
Right, okay.
It wasn't worth the walk.
Oh, that's a huge walk for that as well.
And we were knackered. We got in there. I had a half, we were just drinking halves. So I had a half of 49er Ringwood.
Good God. Right, okay.
Martin had a half of pedigree.
Hmm. I find pedigree too eggy these days.
Yeah, well, it's all Marston's beer. I just a
Yeah,
bit crap
yeah.
now. But we sat outside in the beer garden by the car park, which didn't get a point, by the way. Uh, bar staff were friendly enough, but there was just one stressed out because they don't employ. And there was another Marston's pub we went to, which was just like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a they just understaffed their establishments, I think. Uh, but anyway, we got back from that, and then we it was raining, and we got 20-minute walk back into town, and we're wet, and it was just we just weren't happy bunnies,
No.
and that whole thing had taken an hour and a bit out. Yeah, we were just behind schedule. Anyway, we did a few more pubs. One of the pubs was the Ludlow Brewery.
Okay.
Uh, was that the first Scotch egg? That's where Martin had the Scotch his first Scotch egg. And I packed in my bag a jar of mustard and a knife just in case.
Okay.
And actually, if you're going on a pub crawl, I reckon that's essential materials for.
That's a really smart idea.
Yeah,
Now, you see, I am a committed veggie.
yeah,
I've just used the word committed, and I'm now going to prove that I'm not really.
yeah, yeah,
Because if I ever break the veggie code, it is generally for a Scotch egg. I do
well,
find them very, very
I
seductive.
didn't break the code.
No.
So there was no at Ludlow Brewery. There was no options, but Martin was he was ordering the round that time,
Yeah.
and she says, "Oh, we might have some mustard somewhere. Would you like some mustard?" He says, "It's all right. Got me home."
What I want to see is you just sitting yourself at the table, opening up your backpack, mustard, knife,
Well,
napkin in the top
yeah,
there.
yeah. Well, actually, it came out later as well. Anyway, we had two more pubs to do by then. Actually, before I say that, when we go around, we've chatted to lots of locals, we've chatted to people, and people say, "Oh, you're on the pub trail." Yeah. I don't think anyone else had gone to the Squirrel Pub, the one that's miles away. I think we were
No.
the only people that went there. Mugs that we were.
Yeah.
Anyway, uh, where was I?
So you went to Ludlow
Yeah,
Brewery.
and people are asking, "What's your favourite?" I said, "Oh, Blood Bay. That's the one." Oh, if you like the Blood Bay, you'll like the Dog Hangs Well. I thought, what? Oh, anyway, it was just we were told about this mythical pub.
Right.
If you don't know, it's impossible to tell it's a pub from the outside.
Okay.
Uh, and we walked past it twice that day without realizing it was a pub. But I'll come
Oh,
back to
really?
that.
Okay.
Uh, but we walked down to we had two more pubs to do, and the girls had joined us by this time. And we went to one, and it was, yeah, it was all right. And then we went to the last pub of the day, was a Black Country Ales pub.
Okay.
Now, Black Country Ales is a brewery in the Black Country,
Hmm.
and they've got, I think they've got lots of ales, but any of their pubs, they've always got about 10 beers on. They'll have five of their own and another five guest beers. And we went into that pub and it was rammed. Now, Black Country beers don't do food. The only food they have will have a counter with cobs, pork pies, Scotch eggs. So that scored very highly.
Okay.
And so, anyway, there's a big pork pie we got, which they all shared. And I got a cheese and onion cob, my second one of the day,
Yeah.
which I smeared full of mustard just for the crack. Because the mustard jar came out of that pub as well.
Honestly, I tell you what, I mean, I do this every night. If I'm feeling a bit peckish, what's
Yeah.
the word I was looking for? Honestly, just a slice of bread, a little bit of butter, and some mustard folded in half. It's a mustard sandwich. I
Oh,
love mustard. And
it's up
mustard on a
there
cob
in one of
sounds,
my top 10 favorite things, I think.
yeah,
English mustard, that is.
yeah. Whole
But anyway,
grain nanny.
this was pub 13. And we
Hmm.
realized pub 13, we'd done 13 pubs, we'd had a halves in each because we'd been
Okay,
sensible. And we hadn't had two beers the same.
okay,
Uh, and we actually had two beers in there because we had such a choice. I had a porter right at the end to finish with.
right, okay.
Uh, so we had 14 beers, and we started at 11:15, finished about 6. So it was over. Yeah, it was nicely paced the whole day.
That sounds very nicely placed. When you're talking about halves and you're talking about that's very good, beautifully placed.
I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah. So it was just the most splendid day, apart from the bloody walk to that Marston's pub. But they had
Yeah.
another Marston's pub in town, and it was like a poor man's Weatherspoons,
Yeah.
if that's a thing. It,
Well, apparently it is by the sounds of it.
and it was like everything that Weatherspoons does, but not as good. That never got a point for friendly. There was two pubs that we didn't get any points for friendliness from the staff, and
Okay.
I felt really bad because this girl was on her own in the stressed as whatever, and I felt so bad for her.
Yeah.
Uh, but she was, and the other Marston's pub again, it was the same thing, but she it was a bit well, not wasn't quite as busy, and so she was actually quite she was friendly enough, so we
Yeah.
got a point in that one. But that one, it was just like one person, and this pub was quite rammed.
Yeah.
It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Anyway,
Yeah.
uh, anyway, the pub, the mystical pub. I'll come back to that.
Okay.
The next day, we drove back to Ludlow the next day because
Hmm.
we were going to the food festival. I did things around there, and we had to go back to the brewery to collect our t-shirts.
Okay.
Uh, and because bizarrely, the brewery closes at 5 o'clock each day. Apart
Hmm.
from Fridays, it closes at 6. Their
Oh,
tap room.
really?
It's just wrong.
It's mm.
Yeah. Anyway, they were really friendly in there. I love Ludlow beer. Ludlow Best Bitter is up there for me in,
Okay.
yeah, it's glorious.
Yeah, this is interesting. This needs, yeah, this needs to be something we perhaps look into in the future, perhaps different towns. And we shouldn't make a series of this, I don't think, but I think we sh we should be looking at towns that have interesting pubs.
Well, I think we need to do this, but we'll talk about that after this.
Yeah,
Eh,
again, editorials don't
Anyway,
need to be done
on the
online.
Sunday, on the walk back to the brewery, we'd done the food festival and walking
Yeah,
back, it was starting to rain. And we thought, right, let's get to this. We looked for this pub. We had the address because we had to scour the internet to find the bloody address for this place so we
the
could actually
dog hangs
find it.
right.
I found a picture of the outside, and anyway, we found it,
Yeah,
and they've got this lantern on the outside, and it just looks like an ordinary
yeah.
townhouse. It doesn't nothing pubby about it, but apparently there's lantern outside. We looked up, and you could just see etched onto the glass of this lantern, the dog hangs well. And apparently, if the light's on, the pub's open, and if it's off, it's not.
Wow.
And it was off, so we didn't get to go in.
That's
But Martin wasn't drinking that day, so because he was having to drive back to Bournemouth that day, so he wasn't too.
He wasn't too bothered.
But yeah, it was. I've got a quest. I've got to go to that pub.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a
But
quest.
I'll get a picture of the internet, and you can see what the lantern
Yeah,
looks like and the outside of the house because it doesn't look like a pub.
brilliant.
But anyway, that was my day, and it was the most magnificent pub crawl I've ever done in my life,
Is it really? Okay.
apart from the Marston's the Squirrel Pub and the other
Yeah,
Marston's
I
pub,
know.
which is
I'm not going to say anything, but we have talked in the past about doing some form of crawl
yeah, yeah.
somewhere
And
outside of,
I've re-inspired to do that,
yeah.
but
Um, and it would be interesting to do stuff like that. Yeah. Let's not, again, like I said, let's not make an editorial
anyway,
out of it.
I thank you for letting me share this with the world. But if you ever go to Ludlow, go to the Blood Bay. It is the most brilliant pub.
Okay. I'm inspired. I think it's lovely. And I am looking at a picture of pork pie, 3 pints of booze, and an open jar of mustard.
Well, actually, there's three pubs. Four pubs there. I'd highly recommend, which was the Blood Bay,
Yeah,
the Rose and Crown,
yeah,
Ludlow Brewery,
yeah.
and the Unicorn, which is the Black Country Ales pub.
Okay.
And the fact that we'd been up to another pub down the road and it was pretty empty, and we went to that one and it was rammed. Oh, little quirky. I had marvelous experience. We had this table which was right by the bar, and I was sat on
Hmm.
a stool. And Martin went up to the bar to get the 14th half. He said, "What do you like?" And I just swapped around on the chair, and I was facing the bar. I was like
Oh,
that far away from the bar.
lovely.
And so I sat there thinking, right, I had full view of the whole. It was just a glorious thing to be sat down and choosing my beer like
Brilliant.
that.
That sounds fantastic. Yeah. Well, it
Anyway,
sounds like
this
a
has gone
lovely
on
place, and
far
I'm
too
I'm
long.
intrigued by the dog that hung well. That sounds an
Yes,
interesting.
we need to go. I need to go back. You need to
Yeah.
come with me to there, Anders.
And there's also something slightly French about that pub.
Which one?
The dog that hangs well, in as much as it opens when it wants.
Yes.
It's a
And
very
the thing
French
is,
thing.
most people that go there, they have to go there because someone has told them where it is. Because I don't think you'd have the confidence to walk into this door. It looks like someone's front door. So you have to know.
Yeah.
Because apparently you go in and you have to go down the corridor, down. You've got to find the pub once you get to the house.
Bloody hell. This sounds exciting. I want some of this.
Yes.
So,
Yes. At some point, we'll give you a full report of that pub.
yeah. And you have got me thinking about other things. But like I say, that's not for here and it's not for now. So,
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you for that. That's a fascinating thing, and it's invigorated me.
Yes,
Mm.
it's just yes, it's exciting
Yeah, it's about finding pubs that are different, interesting,
and quirky.
quirky. Yeah, as
Yes,
opposed to, stuff like, oh, sorry, beg your pardon. Oh God, I'm choking. I'm going to choke. Um, yeah, it's about finding something. It's not a spoons, and it's not a Green King, and it's not, it's finding something that's interesting. And I'm
yeah,
really,
yeah. And it just yeah,
yeah,
it was just an incredible, incredible day.
okay. Well, look, if you've any of you have done the Ludlow thing, let us know because that'd be really interesting.
Yes,
Um,
I'd love to know what you thought.
if you
Has it
have,
changed over the years? Has
yeah,
I want to know.
yeah. Um, aside from that, you like this, and you can subscribe should you wish. Um, but until the next time, we'll be back at some point with other stuff. Until then, thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.